Hello everyone, welcome to the yarn bowl. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute amigurumi jellyfish, and it's very cute and easy to make, and it's a no sew project. So if you don't like sewing your amigurumi pieces together, this one is for you. And I totally enjoyed making them, and now I'm on a roll making these amigurumis. And if you want a free written pattern of this amigurumi jellyfish, it's available in my website theyarnbowlcrochet.com. Link for that is available in the description. And if you have an Instagram account, do follow me on my Instagram handle as well. I post project updates and fun reels on my Instagram. Meanwhile, if you're new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the yarn bowl and click on the bell icon as well, so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. So these are the amigurumis that we are going to make today. They are cute jellyfish amigurumis, and I totally enjoyed making them, and they look so cute if you work in 2 different shades of yarn, and I would recommend that. And we need safety eyes, some blush to go under the eyes for this project, and it's a no sew project. You don't need to sew any parts, and that's a plus. And if you don't like sewing your amigurumi pieces together, this one is for you, and it's very quick and easy make too. Let's see what are the things that we need to make this amigurumi. You will need 2 colors of yarn, which is a size 4 acrylic yarn. I'm going to use 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and the colors that I'm choosing today is light peach from I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby, and with the same brand yarn I'm going to choose hot rose as well. And then we'll need stitch markers, safety eyes, and we need stitch markers because we're going to work our project in spiral. So we need a stitch marker to identify our first stitch. And then we need polyfil. I'm going to use the blunt tip of metal crochet hook to tuck in the odd ends of the yarn inside the amigurumi. And we need scissors, and we need blush to apply it under the eyes, and we need some polyfill. And we're going to start making the head first, and then the base, and then we'll attach them together. And then we'll attach the base to the head after attaching all the tentacles on the base, and then we'll work the scalloped end. We'll see how to make. Let's start working with the head. So I'm going to use the light peach yarn for working the head. So now for round 1 I'm going to work a magic ring, and then I will work 6 single crochets on the magic ring. So go ahead, work 6 single crochets on the magic ring. So at the end of round 1 you should have 6 stitches. So once you have worked 6 stitches, tighten the magic ring, and then you can start working the round 2. So as I told you earlier, we're going to work in a spiral. So we're not going to end each round by working a slip stitch. So we're going to start our next round right away. So now for round 2 we are going to work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. So once you have worked your first stitch, mark it with a stitch marker, else we'll get lost and we'll not know which is our first stitch of our round. And now proceed working 2 single crochets on each stitch around. So at the end of round 2 you should have 12 stitches. Go ahead, work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. Now once you have completed round 2, tighten the magic ring even more and secure it with a knot. Now for round 3, we're going to work 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch, and we are going to repeat this pattern around. We are going to work 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So at the end of round 3 we should have 18 stitches. So go ahead, work round 3. I'll meet you at the end of this round. So don't forget to mark your first stitch with a stitch marker and proceed working 1 single crochet in one stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So at the end of round 3 you should have 18 stitches. So now for round 4 we are going to work 1 single crochet each on 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So work 1 single crochet each on 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So we should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. So work 1 single crochet each on 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the same stitch on the next stitch and repeat this pattern around. So go ahead, work round 4. I'll meet you at the end of round 4. So now for round 5 we are going to work 1 single crochet on each stitch for 3 stitches and 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch, and we are going to repeat this pattern around. So we are going to work 1 single crochet on each stitch for 3 stitches and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So always mark your first stitch with a stitch marker and then proceed working 1 single crochet each on 3 stitches and 2 single crochet on the same stitch for the next stitch and repeat this pattern around. So at the end of round 5 you should have 30 stitches. So go ahead, proceed working round 5. I'll meet you at the end of round 5. So now from round 6 to round 11 I'm going to work 1 single crochet on each stitch around. So these rounds from round 6 to round 11 we are not going to work any increments. We are just going to maintain the stitch count. We are going to work 1 single crochet on each stitch around. So I'm starting off with round 6 and as usual I'm going to mark my first stitch with a stitch marker and then proceed working 1 single crochet on each stitch around. So at the end of round 6 through round 11 we should have 30 stitches. So go ahead, work 1 single crochet on each stitch around. So we should have 30 stitches at the end of round 6 through 11. So now I have completed my round 6. I'm going to proceed working round 7, which is going to be the same. I'm going to work 1 single crochet on each stitch around. So mark your first stitch with the stitch marker. Now as I proceed, in order for me to know the row count, because we're going to work 1 single crochet rows for 6 rounds, so just to identify my first round of non-increment round, that is round 6, I'm just pulling through the center yarn bit over here just to mark the round 6. So it will be easier for me to count the number of non-increment rounds. And proceed working 1 single crochet on each stitch around and repeat this until we have 6 more rounds, which is the end of round 11. So go ahead, work 1 single crochet rounds until we reach round 11. I'll meet you at the end of round 11. Now here we are at the end of round 11 and we're gonna complete the head with 2 more rounds and I'm just going to pull off the center yarn bit inside the head itself. I don't want it to be sticking out, and I'm going to start working round 12. For round 12, it's going to be a decrement round. We're going to work one single crochet each for 3 stitches and single crochet 2 together on next 2 stitches. So I have worked one single crochet each on 3 stitches. I'm going to mark my first stitch with a stitch marker, and then I'm going to proceed working single crochet 2 together on the next 2 stitches. So we're going to repeat this pattern around. So I'm going to work one single crochet each on 3 stitches, and then I will work single crochet 2 together on the next 2 stitch, and go ahead, repeat this pattern around. So we should have stitch count as 24 at the end of this round, which is round 12. So round 12 we should have 24 stitches. So I have completed my round 12. So I'm going to proceed working the next round, which is round 13, which is a non-increment round. So I'm going to just work one single crochet on each stitch around. So we should still have 24 stitches at the end of round 13. So this is the last round. So I'm going to work I'm going to fasten off, work a slip stitch at the end of this round. So go ahead, work one single crochet on each stitch around. So now I have completed my round 13. I'm going to fasten off and work a slip stitch, and that's it. Our head is completed, and we have 24 stitches, as we know, at the end of round 13, which is the last round. So now we need to work the base that should go here. For the base, I'm going to still use the same color, which is the light peach, and we're going to start working a magic ring for round 1, and then I'm going to work 6 single crochets on the magic ring. So at the end of round 1 we should have 6 stitches. So like earlier, we are just going to work in a spiral. So we need to we should not work slip stitch at the end of each round. We need a stitch marker to identify the first stitch of each round. So once you have worked your round 1, tighten the magic ring, and then work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. So go ahead for round 2, work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. So at the end of round 2 we should have 12 stitches. Work 2 single crochets on each stitch around. So at the end of round 12 we should have 12 stitches. So now after round 2, tighten the magic ring even more and secure it with a knot. And let's proceed working round 3. For round 3, we are going to work 1 single crochet in 1 stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So go ahead, work 1 single crochet in 1 stitch and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So you should have 18 stitches at the end of round 3. So complete working round 3. I'll meet you at the end of round 3. So now for round 4, I'm going to work 1 single crochet on each stitch for 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the next stitch. So mark your first stitch with the stitch marker and work 1 single crochet each for 2 stitches and 2 single crochet on the next stitch around. So we should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. So this is the last round of our base, and we'll be fastening off, leaving a long tail to attach this base to our head. as we know, we have 24 stitches on the last row of the head that we have worked, and we have 24 stitches here in the base. So leave a long tail, which is enough for us to work slip stitches around while we attach to the head. Now we need to work the tentacles for our jellyfish. We are going to work two types of tentacles. One is a spiral one and one is a straight one. So for the spiral one, I choose to work on the same color which I have worked for the head and the base, and for the straight tentacles I'm going to use the next shade, which will be the hot rose here. And we need to make 3 of the spiral tentacles and 8 of the straight tentacles. So I'm going to use the light peach yarn and start working my spiral tentacles. I'll need to make 3 of them. So work a slip knot and then go ahead, work 36 chains. So go ahead, work 36 chains. So once you have completed your 36 chains, I'm going to work 1 single crochet on the second chain from the hook. So the turning chain one is considered as our single crochet. So we have worked 2 single crochets here. And in the next chain, I'm going to work 3 single crochets. And on the next chain, I'm going to work 2 single crochets. And on the next chain, I'm going to work 3 single crochets. So as you know, we are going to just repeat working 2 single crochet in one chain and 3 single crochet on the next chain, and we are going to repeat this pattern around. Working this way naturally creates a curly cord, which will be good for the tentacles that go on the center. So go ahead, work 2 single crochet in one chain and 3 single crochet on the next chain till the end. So you should see your work getting curled as you go. So continue working this way, and I'll meet you once you have done working the curls. And remember, we should make 3 of them. So go ahead, work this pattern till the end of this chain. So now I have completed working till the end of the chain. So you can see how curly our work is, and I'm going to fasten off and work slip stitch and tie both the ends of yarn together, which will be easier for us while we attach it to the base. So as I told you earlier, we'll need to work 3 of these spiral tentacles. So I have worked 1, and go ahead, make 2 more of them. And next step, we'll start working the straight tentacles. So for the straight tentacles, I'm going to choose the next color of yarn, which is a hot rose, and I'm going to work a slip knot, and then I will work 30 chains. So go ahead, work 30 chains. So once you have completed working 30 chains, I'm going to work 1 slip stitch on the second chain from the hook. So go ahead, work 1 slip stitch on the second chain from the hook, and then work 1 slip stitch on each chain till the end. Go ahead, work 1 slip stitch on each chain till the end. So you should have 29 slip stitches at the end of the chain. So go ahead, work slip stitches till the end. So now we have worked 1 straight cord. You can work slip stitch, fasten off, and tie both the ends of yarn together, which will be easier for us to attach it to the base. So we have worked 1 of these straight tentacles. We need 7 more of them. Total 8 of these tentacles to go on the base. So go ahead, work 7 more of these tentacles, and next step, we are going to attach this tentacles to the base. And before that, we can go ahead, stuff our head with the polyfil, and then proceed at attaching the tentacles to the base. Always attach the tentacles on the right side, so that the tentacles on the right side of the base, so that the wrong side will go inside. So attach the spiral tentacles on the center and attach the straight tentacles equally spaced around the spiral tentacles on the base. So we're going to attach the straight tentacles equally spaced around the spiral tentacles on the base. So go ahead, attach all these tentacles, and you can snip off all the ends of yarn that we have on the base. And next step, you're going to attach safety eyes to the head. I'm going to attach the safety eyes between the 8th and 9th rounds from the top, and I'm going to leave 6 stitch spaces between 2 of these safety eyes. So once I have attached the safety eyes, I'll go ahead, fill my head with polyfil. So leave 6 stitch spaces between 2 of these safety eyes and start filling it with the polyfil. So once you filled it with polyfil, you know we have 24 stitches on the base, and we have a long tail that we left on this base, and we are going to work slip stitches on the back loop of the base to the corresponding stitch on the head, but we work on the front loop of the corresponding stitch of the head. So pick up the back loop of each stitch of the base and work slip stitch on the front loop of the corresponding stitch on the head, and we are going to work slip stitches around this way, which will ensure closing this base to the head. So we are going to do this instead of sewing these base to the head. So now I have attached the base to the head. So I'm going to work slip stitch and fasten off, and we can finally tuck in all these odd ends inside the amigurumi. So now we will be working the scalloped edging on the head. So we're going to work the scalloped edging on the back loops that we have left just while we attached the base to the head. So you can see the back loops here. So I'm going to pick up one of the back loop stitches. You can pick any of these back loop stitches to work this edging. So I'm picking up one back loop. So always from the top of the head we'll be working, not from the opposite side, so that the scalloped edge right side will be perfect. So now I'm going to attach the yarn. I'm going to attach the hot rose yarn, work a chain 1 which does not count as a stitch, and then I work 1 single crochet on the back loop of same back loop stitch, which is the same stitch, and then I'm going to skip the next back loop stitch and then pick up the next back loop stitch and work 5 double crochet stitch on it. So this 5 double crochet stitch is called as a shell stitch, and I'm going to address this as one shell stitch from now on. So go ahead, work one shell stitch, and then I'm going to skip one back loop stitch, and then I'm still working the shell stitch, and once you have worked your shell stitch, skip one back loop stitch and then work one single crochet on the next back loop stitch, and then once again skip one back loop stitch and work a shell stitch on the next back loop stitch, and then once you have worked the shell stitch, skip one more back loop stitch and then work one single crochet on the next back loop stitch. So now you must have got an idea. So we are going to repeat this pattern around. So at the end we should have 6 shell stitch and 6 single crochet stitch. So go ahead, repeat this pattern around. I'll meet you at the end of this round. So once you have worked this pattern around, I'm going to work a slip stitch on top of my starting single crochet stitch to close this round, and then I will fasten off, work slip stitch and weave the ends. So leave the odd end, we will finally tuck in inside the amigurumi. So we are almost done. So if you want, you can add a cute bow to your amigurumi, or you can also use buttons instead of the bow. So I didn't have any cute buttons that would go, they were all big. So I'm going to work a small little bow that I'm going to attach to the head. So for that I'm going to use a hot rose color, and then I will work a magic ring, and then I work a chain 2, and then I work 2 double crochets on the magic ring, and then I once again work 2 chains and then work 1 slip stitch on the magic ring, and this is one side of the bow, and then once again work chain 2, 2 double crochets on the magic ring, and then work a chain 2 again, and then work a slip stitch on the magic ring. So now fasten off and wrap the yarn, both ends of this yarn on the opposite directions after you have tightened the magic ring. So once you tighten the magic ring itself, you can see the bow, and then wrap these 2 ends of yarn around the bow on the opposite direction, so for 2-3 times, and then secure it with the knot. So now attach this bow to the head. I attach it on the 4th round from the top, and then you can fasten off, leaving a small tail which we can tuck in at the end. Go ahead, attach this bow to the head. So now with the blunt end of the metal crochet hook, I am just tucking in all the odd ends inside the amigurumi itself. Go ahead, do this for all the odd ends that you may have around the amigurumi, and once you have tucked in, that's it. We are done with our amigurumi. Now we can add a cute touch to it by applying some blush under the eye. I'm gonna use the regular cosmetic blush that we use. I'm just going to dab it under the eye. So this is totally optional. If you don't want to apply a blush, you can totally avoid it. So it just gives a little extra touch of cuteness to our amigurumi. So once you're done with that, your cute amigurumi is ready. So this is one of the most adorable amigurumis that I worked, and I totally enjoyed making them. Now I'm making more, and I hope you enjoyed the pattern. Try this amigurumi jellyfish at home and let me know your comments. I would also see your work that you made with my patterns, and many people are tagging me on my Instagram when they use my pattern, and I totally love it. I would also like to see yours. And if you want a free written pattern of this amigurumi jellyfish, it's available in my website, theyarnbowlcrochet.com. Link for that is available in the description. And if you have an Instagram account, do follow me on my Instagram, where you will see fun reels and project updates. And meanwhile, if you're new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the Yarn Bowl and click on the bell icon as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.